Hello, good morning. I first want to thank His Highness Prince Badr for his invitation to this fascinating conference. I'm Guillaume Serruti. I'm president of the Pinot Collection and chairman of the board for Christie's. When I saw the title of this conference, it talks to me because I started my career in the art world more than 30 years ago, first in the non-profit sector, then moving to the profit sector, working at Christie's as CEO in particular, and now I share my time between non-profit, the Pinot Collection, one of the most important contemporary art collections in the world, based in Paris and in Venice with museum, and at Christie's, where I still act as chairman of the board. So reflecting about investing in culture really speaks to me. And what I want to share with you this morning is a little bit of what I've witnessed over these 30 years in terms of transformation of the art world and why initiatives, investment initiatives at the moment are particularly relevant in regard of the changes, the transformation that have been at stake over the last 30 years. What we have seen over the last 30 years is, in reality, a triple revolution. I'm just trying to manage, yes, a triple revolution. Until a few years ago, until a few decades ago, the art world and cultural institutions were based on three key principles. Economically, there was a clear distinction between profit and non-profit sectors, between cultural institutions and the commercial cultural sector. Geopolitically, the West, mainly America and Europe, were dominating. Their models dominated. And finally, in terms of the audiences, museum visitors and art collectors had very well established expectation and taste, shaped over decades. All these three foundations have been transformed, have been challenged in a tremendous way over the last decades. The first thing is that we have seen an economic shift. All over the world, we have an increasing number of private museums, of foundations, not only in the US and in Europe, but also in Asia and beyond. In the Middle East, I could mention the Barjeel Art Foundation in Sharjah, the Dawood Foundation in Beirut, amidst many others. At the same time, publicly funded institutions, in particular in Europe and in the US, have faced increasing financial pressures and challenges. And now they rely heavily on private or corporate sponsorship. Museums are collaborating more frequently with art galleries or auction houses. And at the same time, it's fascinating to see that art galleries and auction houses are developing the curatorial and scholarly aspect of what they do. For example, at Christie's, we have hired 3 years ago someone coming from the art history world, Dr. Rida Mumni, as chairman for the Middle East and Africa. And one of his roles is to curate non-commercial exhibition. For instance, like the one we had last summer in Christie's in London, dedicated to Syrian artist Marwan. And you can see a few images here of the way our galleries look like during this great exhibition. The second shift is geopolitical change. The fact that this very precise conference is held here in Riyadh is very significant. It's a powerful symbol. Artists from the Middle East, Africa, Asia, and Latin America have become key figures. Last year, Christie's did organize a major retrospective of Ahmed Matter and his work at our London headquarters. And starting this week, I'm very proud to announce that the Pinot Collection, in its art residency in the north of France, in Lens, in the north of France, will welcome Hannah Salem, a young Saudi artist, for 1 year. And also, and it's a little bit of an announcement today, I want to, I'm sorry, I'm struggling a little bit with my slideshow. That doesn't show exactly what I'm seeing on my screen, but I'm sure it will be sorted out. I also want to announce that next year in Venice, in our museums, we will have 4 exhibitions during the Art Biennale by an African artist, Michael Armitage, an Indian artist, Amar Kanwar, a Brazilian artist, Paulo Nazareth, and an African-American female artist, Lorna Simpson. That gives you a sense of the diversity and the fact that the art scene has become truly global today. At the same time, as you know, new museums have appeared everywhere. Just to talk a little bit about China here, between 2008 and 2014, not less than 40,000 new museums were built. Of course, many of them have disappeared, but still the scale remains striking. The same is true with biennales. Some of the most dynamic are taking place here in the Middle East, with the Sharjah Biennale and the Contemporary and Islamic Diriyah Biennale in Saudi Arabia. And today, it's no more possible to conceive a museum, a show, or a biennale without taking into account the Global South, their artists and their collectors. And finally, and that's probably the most impressive of all changes of the 3 revolutions I was talking about, the audience has changed. New collectors entering the art market, museum visitors today do not share the same habits or the same reference points as their predecessors. The rise of digital tools and social networks, the way cultural content is presented is a major transformation. I will use one example, and I hope you can see it on the screen as I speak. At the Bourse de Commerce in Paris, a few weeks ago, we presented a very immersive installation by a French artist, Céleste Boursier-Mougenot. And we were absolutely shocked in a positive way by the interaction with social medias. Nearly 300,000 visitors came to visit our museum, and half of them, when we asked them through a poll, explained that they were informed about our programming and this installation through social media. The same 50%, for them it was their first visit in our space at the Bourse de Commerce. 90% of these 50% who came for the first time, they took the time to visit other galleries in the museum. And as you can see, only if a fraction of them had the idea after this visit, triggered by social media, to come back to the museum, it's a winning bet. That gives you an example of the power of social media and the way they can be used as a tool by museum and the art world. That's what we know also at Christie's when we look at the structure of our new demographics. As you can see on the slide, millennials and those born after, even more recent generation, are the primary cohort in terms of new collectors at Christie's. And these collectors, they have very specific expectations. They come to us, and here I talk as of chairman of Christie's, first to experience something or to collect or buy object in the luxury field or in the contemporary art categories. It's very interesting because that also tells something about what we need to include in our programming, in the way we build our exhibition, and at Christie's, our sales. And the final point I want to mention about the audience, and I'm so happy to talk about this here in a country that has understood it perfectly well, is that the boundaries between art, luxury, entertainment, sport are very different from what we had in the past generation. And approaching all these fields that of course have their own specific momentum, but integrating this in one strategy is extremely relevant to capture this new audience. I would like to now explain why, and I'm going faster, these changes are a fantastic opportunity for emerging countries, and here in particular in the Middle East. Financially, these countries have understood that Europe and America are looking for partners. They need partners for joint projects and for their financing. And it is particularly evident in France. You have just heard about Minister Le Drian speaking about what this partnership between Saudi and France mean in Halula. That's true also for other institutions like the Pompidou, British Museum, or the Guggenheim, talking about Abu Dhabi in particular. Likewise, these emerging countries, and here in particular in Saudi, they understand from the outset the merits and the importance of having a very diverse programming. While American and European institutions try to catch up, here, by investing in culture and thinking globally, you are going one step forward immediately. That was particularly evident for me when I attended the Jeddah Biennale in February, and I saw the way with curators coming from different countries, this Biennale was embracing global diversity in what they wanted to express through their programming. And finally, as I told you, this project of bringing together, we heard this morning from the minister, Prince Badr, bringing together not only the art, the luxury, the fashion, the entertainment, the sport industry is very relevant, as I just talked, to speak to new audience. That's what we want to do, and we try to do also in the broader strategy of the Pinault family owners of Christie's and the Pinault collection. They are also the owners of Creative Artist Agency, CAA, one of the most important artist agency in the world. They have also interest in sports. So they are also, this family, through this strategy, understanding the new landscape in terms of the audiences. In conclusion, I would like to say that while we know and we understand how financing investment is key in cultural and artistic initiatives, this project or this strategy has to be understood as not only the end, but a mean to reach higher objectives. And that's something maybe without sharing a different opinion, I want to emphasize. There are two key points, in my opinion, that needs to be kept at the center of every strategy when it's about investing in culture and the art. The first one is education. Of course, we recognize the importance of private field, of private actors, when it's about financing culture and artistic initiatives. But what is even more important is to keep in mind that the educational dimension needs to underpin this cultural and this investment strategy. The most effective way to ensure the longevity of museum, to foster awareness and engagement among younger audiences, still go through education. And that's why everything we do at Christie's, that's also true with Pinot Collection, but at Christie's in particular, because we think about our future, playing the long game, is also about investing in education for future art lovers and future collectors. We were present, of course, in Jeddah during the Biennale, and partnering with the Biennale, we insisted to work with them on the educational program running along the Biennale. Why? Because one more time, we think about the way we build awareness and ultimately, talking about Christie's, the market of future collectors. And everything starts and needs to start with education. In a similar way, another thing that is key and very important, something I've witnessed when I was working in the public sector, when I was working with ministers in France in particular, is that when you talk or when you think about investing in art and luxury, you are thinking short-term and you are thinking contemporary art. Focusing only on this will be not a mistake, but will be part of what needs to be done. Connecting heritage, history, tradition with contemporary is absolutely essential. If you look at all great examples of countries that have built a very strong presence in the art world, the art market, as well as the non-profit art world, they've all built this on their own history, heritage, connecting this heritage with their initiatives, very often connected, one more time, with financing. They've always connected, one more time, these initiatives, financial initiatives, to the heritage and to the tradition. That's extremely important. And when I think about Saudi, and I look at what the authorities, the ministries are doing here, the government is doing here with Vision 2030, when I see what happens in Jeddah, in Alula, in Riyadh, in the Riyadh sector in particular, with the way these initiatives are combined, that makes me optimistic about what's happening in this country. Thank you so much.